Welcome, everyone. Hope everyone's having an awesome day. My day's been going pretty well so far. It's been a lot of fun today. Didn't get enough sleep last night, so I'm definitely feeling that. Up really late working on Codepalooza. This is a great event. This is our 10th year, and what a crazy year to have your 10th year. Where everything's tipsy turvy, and things are all over the place. But I think we're going to have a good event. We've worked with a lot of good vendors and partners, make some things happen to make this a very interesting event. And sure enough, on Thursday on this stream, we're going to announce, basically re-announce Codepalooza 2020. We announced it feels like forever ago now. We even announced that we were going, it was going to be an online event. First it was going to be hybrid, then it was all online, and so forth. But there's some really big announcements coming up, right? Along with that, things we're going to be doing. Yes, this is the pre-announcement. Yes, Mike. It's what's top of my mind, so that's why I'm talking about it. So some things I want to talk about today. Number one, so right now, actually at this moment, Microsoft Build is going on. This is Microsoft's big time to make all their announcements. What are they working on? What's coming up? And there are some really neat things coming up, and I finally can talk about some of these things. Embargo got lifted at 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific, and so some things you should be listening for during build, right? But that I wanted to point out, that at least got my interest. And number one, Azure Serverless, Azure Cosmos is going to have a serverless option. I kind of messed up that great announcement there, right? So this is kind of interesting, right? Cosmos, one of the big issues that you hear with Cosmos is the price, right? And it's not cheap, right? Although I challenge anyone, every time someone challenges me with the price, I ask them, okay, you try to build something of similar scale, similar size, you can handle that much, ramp up, in a heartbeat, and handle all that. And, you can't for that price, right? So it's actually a pretty good price. But it's still, the price does take some people out of it, right? It doesn't allow for, when you have small number of users, right? We're just not generating that much traffic. Or you have bursty workloads, right? Maybe you only have workloads that hit once a week, month, right? But you want that power of Cosmos, the APIs and so forth. Well, so sure enough, they're going to be announcing a serverless option, right? I don't have pricing in here. I'm not even sure if they've updated the site yet. It's supposed to be updated about this point, but the whole idea of serverless, so you're only paying for it when you're actually using it. For those who don't know, Cosmos is charged. You pay for two different things. You pay for your storage, right, which is typical. It's a quarter gigabyte. And then you pay for throughput, and throughput is charged on what they call a request unit, which is a magical number that defines how much throughput per second is allowed. And with that, you pay. It's for the whole time it's on, right? It's not really on or off. You're paying for a minimum level. So that's great. I think it's gonna be a really nice feature adding on to it. I gotta admit, that was not something I even expected. Less did I any clue of that happening. So I'm really happy to see that coming up. Some other big things with Cosmos, kind of along the same lines of serverless. So autoscale, it's actually already in preview right now. It's been called Autopilot. They're renaming it to autoscale because that's Microsoft's thing. You've got to rename everything before you take it to public. I don't know. Although at least autoscale is not some boring generic business name like Microsoft does sometimes. But anyway, so autoscale, this is a nice little feature that allows me. Oh, sorry, I didn't keep my alerts. Just a second. I need to find a way to do that through my Stream Deck. got my stream deck. I push a button, does several things, get me started with my stream. I haven't found a way how to set my status to do not disturb. But anyway, talking about autoscale. Autoscale is really nice because it allows kind of also with the bursty type workload. But if I know I generally have this amount going throughout the day, but maybe I have other parts of the day where I need higher levels, right? I need it to go back up. And this is really nice because give it your minimum and maximum. And actually, I know they were going to change the way how that worked. So the preview was pretty set straight. It was like it was 400 minimum RUs up to, I think it was 4,000. And I know they were talk of changing the way how that worked. So a little bit more configurable that way. But it's really nice. So sure enough, I did a project where we were actually uploading almost 300 gig worth of data. And obviously during that period when I'm trying to upload that much data, I needed a higher RU. And so I just turned on auto scale, right? And it allowed that to run. It was really nice. Worked well. The other big feature, two other big things that I won't say game changer things, but things that will definitely make, one thing I know is what my data guy, he kind of complains about, and that is there's going to be better backup support, right? So right now, backups are, a little bit fishy, right? In the sense that basically you can get up to the last 8 hours of backup. And you have to put a ticket to do the restore. So it's not a pretty picture. What they're going to allow you to do, it's going to be like a regular database, a point in time backup and restore. You're going to be able to schedule these. I have not seen this firsthand. I heard about it back at MVP Summit. But that, I don't remember if there was much more than what was stated there, but that is now also being announced at Microsoft Build. And then the other thing, really cool. So one of the things you can do with Azure Cosmos is you can have your change feed. And your change feed allows you to keep track of things that are changing to your database, and you get a feed of those changes. And up until now, or when this actually gets released, I don't know the exact release dates. I just know it's being announced this week. You only got updates on basically on the ads. There is actually no updates in Cosmos. You can't update, or you can't. Let me rephrase that. You can update a document, but you have to update the whole document. So technically, you're just rewriting the document. Anyway, but there is a different flag for that. But so you're getting so we were able to do those. One of the things you could not do was get in that feed the deletes that happen. Right, and so Microsoft's workaround was don't do hard deletes, do soft deletes, which isn't always the answer. I mean, generally, a lot of times that's actually what we want to do is just do soft deletes, and that's actually generally a good recommendation. But there are times we really want to delete it. Especially if you're generating data and that data means nothing if it actually needs to be. It depends on what the situation is. So they're adding the delete functionality into the change feed. I'm really excited about that. Actually, my very first implementation of Cosmos, that was one of my frustrations. Because I had a set of data that just really needed to be deleted. But I also needed to know when that data deleted. And let me know the way how I did it was I did a soft delete. I mean, this was really crazy. I actually did a soft delete, pick that up in the change feed, do the actions I needed to do because something deleted, and then actually delete it from Cosmos. Now you don't have to do that workaround, right? So those are some really nice things that are being announced today and tomorrow, just in Cosmos. Some other things, I mean, obviously I'm a big fan of Cosmos. That's why I talked quite a bit about. Some other things, I must have missed before if they made a pre-announcement about this, but so they're gonna make some Azure updates to include. Or Azure database updates. To include, they are adding Azure database for PostgreSQL and Azure database for MySQL. Now they've had MySQL solutions before, but they were expensive. Now I have no idea what the pricing is going to be, so maybe this is not going to be a big deal, other than the fact it is going to be a fully managed MySQL database, within the Azure cloud, which that in itself is a big deal. One thing that I'm really hoping for this is that it is a lower price. You look at like the Azure SQL. I mean, that price goes all the way down to $5. It's a very limited database at that point. But think of a blog that doesn't get used very often. All right, it doesn't get that many. Honestly, that basic or even like the $10 database would work. So if that is possible with MySQL, that would be exciting, right? Because right now, honestly, Azure is not the place to put your WordPress data application. And I'm sure some would be like, well, you don't want to put your WordPress anywhere, right? Don't use WordPress. And I don't know if I probably don't disagree, right? I'm not the biggest fan of WordPress, although I use it because it's easy to use. But so I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see the pricing for that, right? I mean, because that could be a big change. I could maybe finally move more things into one place. So along with that, I mean, obviously the other big thing will be .NET 5, right? Now .NET 5 got announced last year at last year's build, and there's some things, I'm not going to talk about because I don't know how much that's going to announce, right? Because there have definitely been some changes since the MVP Summit, and but sure enough, Preview 4 of .NET 5 is now available. They're still planning on being generally available in November. And basically this is their journey to unify the .NET platform. And I'm excited to see that, right? This is a good set of changes, and I would have a feeling finally with Preview 4 we'll finally start seeing some things that actually make it worth to start playing .NET 5. I looked at some of the other previews, and honestly, it just wasn't really worth my time. Now, part of that being because I've already, for my work, we've already made a decision that we will not go to .NET 5. And the reason behind that is nothing to do with .NET 5. It has to do with Microsoft support. And that is, so .NET 5 will be a current release, not a long-term support release. And what is the difference there? Well, so an LTS release is supported for a minimum of 3 years after it's released. So full support, security updates to security updates and other changes, but are support for minimum 3 years after the a current release on the side is supported for 3 months after the next release, whether LTS or current release. So, for example, 5 comes out, right? And let's just be honest, right? 5 will come out in November. 5.1, will come out probably January, February. That's how it goes, right? Maybe March. Maybe it might be a little bit later this time. Guess what? 5.1 comes out. If you deployed to 5.0 to begin with, you have 3 months from 5.1 goes out. When 5.2 goes out, you have 3 months from that to update 5.1. Right, so that's a trick, right? And for our company, we don't have the manpower to support that, right? So we're sticking to LTS releases unless there's something really dramatic in the release. And while there's some really nice things coming up, some of which I won't talk about because I don't remember. I scanned. So MVPs received a book last week so did the press, and it's the exact same book they give the press. Of all the changes that they're announcing. There's some things I don't remember, so I won't talk about them. I am looking at some notes that I wrote real quickly that I did verify are in there. But there's really nothing for us, that's overwhelming to deal with that support issue, especially at least the main application. We are looking forward to going to .NET 6 when it comes out. Interesting enough, I mean, with the way our long-range planning is actually we're actually currently at 2.1 with a couple things being 2.2, which is a little bit of an issue. But we're going to go 3.1 this fall, and we're going to skip 5. 6 will come out November of 2021, so next year. But we will not. probably will not migrate to 6 until fall of 2022. And the primary reason for that is just the fact that, again, support and manpower. We do one maintenance, so we do a monthly sprint and we do one maintenance release a year. It's just because we have so many new features out with our own product. All right, so the preview 4 is coming in. Lots of great things in there. You know, one of the things, I mean, definitely here talks about, you know, .NET 5 will have several cloud and web investments, such as smaller, faster, single file XEs that will use less memory, which are appropriate for microservices and container applications across operating systems. So it's a really nice set of features we're seeing there, right? The other one, and the big one, and I'm actually really excited about this, although we won't be using it where I work because it's not because of the platform we use. But they're going to be announcing Maui. So Maui is the multi-platform app UI. Now, I really can't do justice of talking about this, at least yet, because I'm not a front-end guy. All right, give me the back end. All right, that's where I rather work on. But this is definitely coming up. All right, and so here's where they're really getting that single code base of everything they put together. And in .NET 6, Xamarin is going to be completely integrated into .NET Maui, and so you won't have a separate runtime, right? A separate space. All right. Again, I'm debating what to say because I'm you know, I don't want to violate NDA, but there, I mean, that's definitely, I mean, I'm reading right here what the press can be told, and I'm sure it's already in all the tech news. So that's really exciting. I'm really excited to see that. I mean, this is more than Blazor. Blazor is really cool, but now we're talking about even something more, right? You know, being able to unify everything together. So that's really nice. Another thing that's getting announced, and I'm really excited for, is the VS Live share. Right now, so our VS Live share. I'm sorry, that itself that's been around for a couple of years, but the live share is getting a big enhancement, and that is it's now going to support chat and app support sharing. So first, I mean, the chat. I mean, that makes sense, right? I mean, today, if you're doing a live share, you still got a Teams window open up or Skype window or something, right? Something you're opening up that you're chatting or you're talking over. So this is actually going to support chat. Actually, I want to say there was something also with that. Yeah, text and voice chat. All right, so that's going to be really nice. I don't have to open up another app. I can stay in that app, stay inside of Visual Studio, and that's really neat. The other thing, and I'm excited to see when they demo this, but app sharing. All right, so think about today. You know, what happens is you're actually sharing that app over the internet. You're sharing the Visual Studio app, right, or Visual Code. Right, it works with either one. But with this, I'll be able to share apps on the machine. Right, but, you know, you'll be able to see even more integration. So I don't know. I'm like I say, I'm a little bit curious to see how it's going to work. I'm curious to see the demos for this. Boy, that's just so cool, so neat. All right, I remember when LiveShare was announced, and that's when I started working remote partially. Right, I wasn't a full-time remote person then, but I was working part-time remote, and you know, depending on the week, sometimes it was one day of the week, sometimes it was 5 days a week. It just depended. But that company, I had a lot of junior developers, and so LiveShare actually made it possible for me that remote because everyone else actually was in the office because they were all local to the city, whereas I lived a couple hours away. And LiveShare was awesome. So to see these improvements, right? See that I can now chat right in there. I can now share the apps. Right? That's gonna be cool. All right, so some other announcements. I'm gonna go a little bit faster because get through all this. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of Azure stuff. There's a lot of AI, quantum computers. Right, they're going to be making some more announcements on quantum computing, which is just crazy to think that we're now seeing. You know, we're getting all these mimic quantum computers. We don't have them yet, but we can start mimicking it. It's basically prepping for once we can actually have true quantum computers. But some of the other things I took note of, and some of the changes in Microsoft Teams. This is an app that I live in. Well, probably a lot of you all live in, right? I mean, if not, you're probably using Slack. But for those who are using Teams, Teams is critical. It's critical, especially nowadays. Right? Or if you work from home anyways. Right? I work from home 100% of the time. Others are working from home right now during this pandemic. Teams has become even more and more important today. And Teams is great, but there are definitely some hiccups, and a lot of that is getting some things that some things I'm not going to talk about directly because of the way how they worded what they're going to be doing. But one of the things they talked about is you're going to be able to what do they say here? You're going to be able to create your own customized templates, right? And basically, with these templates, you can kind of define the way how the teams are, right? Predefine channels, apps, guidance on how to utilize and customize this. I mean, this sounds kind of boring for the developer type aspect, but also remember, for those who are leading groups, this is really important. I mean, this is sure enough, we use Teams so much at work, we're actually dealing with overusage of it. Trying to figure out how to handle it better. And it's actually one of the projects I'm working on right now. So this will be nice, right? So, so that's coming out really soon. There's some other updates, and I've just now noticed, at least I didn't copy them down. I'm not going to talk about those, but there's some other really big updates that I definitely will not talk on a live stream until I know for a fact it's being released. They're all make some other big updates, but the one that is a newer announcement, being announced today or tomorrow, is NDI support. So NDI, and I'm drawing a blank. What was NDI stand? Oh, let me find the browser I want. And there is actually the build right there. NDI is not the Democratic National Institute. Oh, forensics. Yeah, I'm not finding it real quick. But NDI is basically a protocol that allows you to separate video streams and such, which is nice. And Indy, I burned you last night. Well, so here's the cool thing. So I'm curious, how did it burn you? I'm assuming within Skype, or maybe not in Skype. So right now, sure enough, if you're going to do like an interview on a live stream, generally what we do is we have a call in Skype, and then we're using NDI because Skype currently supports, and we capture that window. And the nice thing is it allows you to capture each individual window. So even if I have 4 people on the call, I can actually separate in 4 different windows with 4 different audio inputs, so not just the video. Okay, so you use the OBS preview in Teams, but no one else could. Well, it might be because, I mean, like I said, apparently, NDI support is just getting announced today or tomorrow. And it says it'll be available in June is when they're saying they're. Oh, there's a plug. Okay, yeah, there's a plugin for NDI and OBS, but this is what I'm talking about. Is Microsoft Teams is adding direct support for it. That might be part of the reason why you're having some problems with it. So I'm not sure. Like I said, I fooled with it a little bit with Skype. It works. I mean, there's nothing problem with it. But this will be nice, right? The fact that Teams is going to have that added support. And with that being said, Teams has got some other issues with the whole tenant thing. Is I can go on a whole rant about the Microsoft Teams tenants, and that's the fun part about. I do get to participate in some Microsoft events, closed off events, and for heaven's sakes, if you're not in the Microsoft tenant, I'm a guest in the Microsoft tenant. you won't see your chat, right, or something. It's so silly. All right, so that's some of the bigger announcements that are coming up. I'm sure over the next couple of days I'll talk more about some of it. But those are the things I've been really excited about. That I've been excited about since MVP Summit. Got even more excited last week when I got the book of news, everything they were announcing. I mean, just to give you an idea, and I'm not going to show this on screen, but I mean, the book of news is 55 pages, and it's just briefs, right? It's actually, again, it's built for the press, so it's kind of funny. I mean, this is my first year as an MVP. I'm not very curious when I read press articles about this, how closely it was to what was in the book of news, right? I mean, how much did they change it from what Microsoft actually put? All right, so that's cool. Let's go on. Let me even switch my screen. This has been a long intro into today's stuff. I'm actually not ready to move over there yet. I want to actually go back to my browser window. So sure enough, so this is going on right now. You can go to build.microsoft.com and you can it's a free event. It's going on through tomorrow. It's going on. I'm sorry, not through tomorrow. Through Thursday. But Thursday at like 5 a.m. or something like that Eastern time. It's 48 straight hours. They're going to be reproducing content and so forth. So you can do that. You could also on Twitch. You can go to Microsoft Developer Twitch channel, watch it there. You'd rather watch it on Twitch, what have you, right? And I'm sure there's other ways to watch it. Like I know for a fact, Developers Garage right now is he's actually doing a watch party on Microsoft. All right, real quick announcement. So I already talked about this before, but just a reminder: this Thursday, Jeremy Lickness and Arthur Vickers, Vickers, will be joining me at the Louisville.net meetup. Talking about any framework. Those are two of the folks. Actually, Jeremy is the lead for any framework, and Arthur Vickers is one of the program managers or that type of thing for any framework. So this should be a really great presentation. I am really looking forward to it. I hope you're as excited as I am. It's interesting. Again, as an MVP, we get what they call the product group initiatives, or in action, sorry. And this was one, there's one for any framework, and they were talking about what's coming up with .NET 5. And the funny part was, it's like, no, this is NDA, right? Because it's all open source. So I reached out to him afterward. Hey, what do you think about doing that? Cool. Yeah. That's one of the great things. There's so many events going on right now. It's good to see that I did see that you're speaking at your local Azure group, because I actually I remember seeing. I'm like, oh, I can't attend it because I'll be running my own event. I just got the approval early this morning. We will be recording the session Thursday, so it will be available afterwards. Right. But you will, you won't necessarily be able to see it live, but you'll be able to see it afterwards. And sure enough, as mentioned, there is the where I want to go. Looking everywhere but when I want to go. There is the Scott Hunter will be with us on June 9th. That's a special day for us. It's not a day we normally meet. Sure enough, anyone who attends the IT happy hour, we're looking at how to reschedule that, because that is actually the night we do the IT happy hour. We're not going to do that. Instead, we're going to do this, because this is someone like Scott Hunter, you schedule when is available, right? So that'll be great. And then on our regular, so we're going to have 2 meetups next month, and we'll probably have 2 meetups in July also. But we will have Michael Perry come in and talk about designing better APIs and this is his concept of ACID 2.0. It's a really neat idea. This was interesting here. So talking about ACID 2.0 being associative, commutative, I can never say this word, component and distributed. So, yeah, I've heard some really, I mean, this is a newer talk from him, but I've heard some really good things about when he did it for Tulsa last week. So I'm excited to have him come in and do that. And we're looking for, we're going to be scheduling some other stuff, some very, very soon. Sure enough, everyone sees Binary Shelf on there. I actually owe him an email because I'm looking to schedule him at one of the upcoming Azure groups, the Louisville Azure group. I just need to email him about that. Along with, sure enough, there is the Louisville Azure group. We are meeting next week when Kevin Griffin will be joining us to talk about Azure Logic apps. That will be also a really great talk. So great. So that's all announcements. I don't really have much for news. I started this yesterday talking about news. I actually meant to show this earlier, but yeah. So I'll be sure enough, you start seeing all the news stories coming out about what's coming up in Microsoft Word, right? As far as developers concerned, like Tech Republic. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, that one. So 4 articles right there are all build related, and that's assuming this hasn't, there hasn't been any more new stuff. Yeah, I see even more stories, right? So definitely a lot coming, news coming out of there. One thing I did see, and I didn't really get a chance to read this yet, but Microsoft and Sony team up to create AI-powered smart camera solutions. This could be interesting, right? I'd be curious to read more about this just to see security behind it and such. I will say I'm actually moving to a Sony camera for my camera. I'm not using it yet. Sony cameras are awesome, right? So I'll be curious to see how that works, right? I mean, it's going to be something really, really great. So, right, 1 second here. I need to click on something here for a moment. Just because someone needs something. 1 second. This is the hard part about doing this during lunch, is that work doesn't stop. Okay, all right, cool. All right, which one? Douglas, I'm not sure which one you're referring to. And sure enough, Douglas is Binary Shelf. Funny part is everyone. Oh, which camera? So I bought the Sony A6000. So really nice camera. Got a good deal on it. So for the 15 to 50 millimeter lens and a 20 to 1, the big zoom lens, I got for $650. Right, so pretty good deal. So like I said, I started playing with it last night. Yes, live HTML. You have to go into a setting and you turn off the display so it gives you a clean HTML look. Like I said, I was playing with it last night. The only thing I don't have yet, and the reason why I'm not using it yet for my streams, is I need the dummy battery. So right now it's just running on battery power. The one thing about mirrorless cameras, so the A6000 is a mirror camera. The batteries do not last as long. One, because they're a smaller battery, but two, apparently just the technology is a little more power. So and actually at the moment I can't find a dummy battery. The craziest thing about trying to start up a stream and do all the stuff during the pandemic is you can't find stuff. I mean, everything is sold out. It's insane. But I'm actually going to be calling over to the local camera shop, and hopefully they have the power supply I need. So then I can hook up. I will say, I was playing with it last night, and works great with the green screen. Actually works better than this camera is doing, which is why I got it. But also, when I don't have the green screen up, I have some new lighting set up. So when I'm not doing live coding, I'll be using that, and it's a really neat look that I'm getting. So that I couldn't get with a webcam. I need something like a mirrorless camera or DSLR type camera. All right, so there's all the announcements. Now we're 35 minutes in. Let's get to some coding. So so for those who were here yesterday, we're going to pick right back up where we were at yesterday. For those who weren't, because I know the great thing about streaming is people come in and out. One day they're in, one day they're not. But what I'm working on, and this is actually a POC for work, a proof of concept. And what I want is the ability, not this, that's work. There we go, this one. I'm working on a dynamic configuration, right? And sure enough, there's plenty of tools for this, but I need something a little bit customized that can work with different environments. And we're playing around with the Azure App Configuration service, which is a really nice service, right? Allows you to have configurations independent of your Azure apps. Gives me one central place to put it. So I can manage different settings for different apps all in one place, which is really nice. Makes it very easy to make changes to it. Allows, for an administrator to make those changes. You don't have to have developers make those changes. Really nice service, but it is definitely geared towards ASP.NET because it was written by the ASP.NET team. So it has built-in support for ASP.NET, for .NET Core itself, and then Azure Functions, and then Java Spring, which I was impressed. They also did Java Spring support. But in my company, we don't use any of those. Well, no, I'm sorry, we use .NET Core, but we're not using, well, actually we are using ASP.NET, but for our APIs. So we're using Web API. But, and we are using Azure Functions. So I shouldn't say we're not using any of it. Let me start that part over. Our front-end applications, right? The web application and our two mobile applications. The web applications, Angular app, and then the mobile apps are native. So Kotlin for the Android devices, and then Swift for the iOS devices. And so, we can't use this straight out. One of the things when we start looking at this, because we are using this in one solution, it actually hasn't rolled out yet. It's all developed. Hopefully, it'll go out in a month or two. It's on hold at the moment for waiting for some things. But we're using this, and we're using it with the Azure Functions. And it's nice, right? Because I can pick up those settings and everything. But we want to be able to use it more. Keep on having needs to be able to have a dynamic configuration. Maybe a text string that would change based upon a sale prompt. Turning on and off features. So feature. Not burying yourself in the feature. Microsoft has gone full hog on feature flags. They put it in, their feature flags are more buried into the code. And, again, for a company like us, we're too small. So we're looking at some options how to handle this better. And with that consideration, I'm working on this dynamic configuration app. So I'm going to use the Azure App Configuration, build probably an Azure function. Or no, I'm sorry, it's going to be a web application, a web API that allow me to grab those values. But then on top of all that, so that I've done, that I don't really need a POC. I know we could do it and done. And that's great. That's one of the things we talk about. Well, we just build a front end, or an API to it, and done with it. I actually want to take it a step further. Right? The whole problem with an API is I either have to do one or two things. I either have to have a whole bunch of endpoints. You know, okay, well, now I need this piece of data. Oh, I need that piece of data. The feature flags are easier because you just pass in the feature flag you want. But like for the configurations, right? You know, it's or maybe I want more than one, right? Maybe I want a couple. And there's some ways we can handle that, right? I mean, so it's not like I have to have so many endpoints, but you know, you'd have to have several, right? In theory. So what we were looking at was, could we use GraphQL on top of the API that will allow, you know, that basically will allow you to get the values you really want at that time. Right? Along with, you know, one of the great things about GraphQL is it has a way of caching those values, so I don't have to do the whole call every time. I find out, oh, that hasn't changed, so I don't need to change. There's also ways to do that within configuration. So that's what I'm working on right now. That's what we're working on this week on the stream, I think. And so yesterday, what I was working on in particular was the new SDK. So if you go into the documentation, go back in here, just bring this one up. It's got the other documentation we've been referencing. So sure enough, if we look at this, you know, we can see that on the docs, go to developer tools, app configuration. App configuration, there we go. If you look at their quick start, go to the .NET Core quick start, you know, they are using this package. I'm actually looking up because I don't remember the name of the package. Microsoft.extensions.configuration.Azure App Configuration. And this package works very well. I mean, it does the job very nicely. Microsoft is actually working, or more importantly, the Azure team in Microsoft is working on a new set of SDK, right? Where they're making everything consistent, right? And that's this one I've been showing here. Hold on a second. Where my hair is just getting way too long. Monday the hair shop's open, or get a haircut. That's what I'm trying to say. Really looking forward to that. Anyway, so I've been looking at the app configuration SDK. Yeah. So I've been looking at this package, which is Azure dot. I forgot the name of the package. Well, it's silly. I can't remember this. Not really. It's Azure.data.app configuration. And so this is part of what Microsoft's been doing. You know, they're putting everything in a single set of namespaces, making everything consistent, also consistent across the language. So it's not so hard to go from language to language. It'll be easier for a Java developer to talk to a C# developer because the APIs will be. So this is actually a really nice project they're working on. I highly recommend, if you're doing any Azure work, definitely look at these SDKs because they're much nicer. So the one thing we were looking at, I had not used this SDK for the Azure App Configuration because it's newer. It wasn't even ready when I was building my stuff, plus documentation still points you to the other one. Actually, if I remember when I started that project, maybe the Azure app, the new Azure SDK was available, so I didn't know about it. That way. All right. So yesterday I was fumbling around with the sample app, and I was basically just doing them, stepping through them, learning how everything works. And I really do like it. It's very nice. It's clean. I mean, we can see, you know, here is just a simple hello world. Create a client, create a setting, set the configuration value. Easy peasy, and you're done. There's also an add configuration setting. And basically the difference being that, I want to make sure I say this correctly. Yeah, so an add will literally add it, right? And so if it's already there, it will not let you add it again. It's already there, it'll give you an error message. Whereas a set, it'll basically do an add or it's an upsert, right? It'll either add or update. So anyway, oh, there's a couple of typos in there. All right, so so I was working with these, and sure enough, I actually did. I kind of went a little bit to the I wouldn't say extreme, but I actually did do a little bit more work, a little bit more documentation yesterday on the samples because I was, you know, actually thinking at some point I might actually do a presentation about Azure App Configuration. So I was doing some documentation. Today I want to take it a step further, and let's actually start building this out. Let's start building what we want to do as a proof of concept. So what we need to do in here, let's go ahead, let's go to the portal. Okay, we're in the correct one. And I want to go to configuration that I'm using as POC. So we can see this in here. Now, you know, again, for those who missed yesterday, I mean, one of the reasons why I really like this is, you know, I can go in here and setting values are very simple. You know, so here you can see the samples that we were playing with yesterday, and they have a value. So it's a simple, it's a key value pair, very simple. But what they added that there's a label onto it, right? So it's like a powered up key level pair. So let me go ahead and delete this because this was just part of testing. Why am I not able to delete? Can't edit it either. Oh, okay. This was the one I was playing with guitar read only. And I guess in the portal it calls it unlock. Well, that's interesting. So if it's locked, you can't even delete it. Oh, that's. I didn't realize that, and that's something definitely to think about because it stops you from accidentally deleting something. That's cool. All right. At any rate, what we're going to do, we're just going to create some key values in here. So we're just going to have, you know, we're going to have POC. Blank, right? And the reason why I'm doing it like this is I'm just, you know, this is like a namespace type way, right? This is a way I can kind of separate things. And so I can, you know, I can have like a POC, and then maybe I would have. Well, let's call this different. Let's call this. Here, we'll call this links. This is kind of what I was thinking of doing here. And we'll call this front page. Yeah, so maybe this would be the link for the front page. And, you know, so sure enough, you know, it is sad I got to type that out, but I'm thinking of it. So it'll be that, and we'll actually add the label to prod. Okay. Any content type you can use, I don't use those. So you can see I've added that value in there. And then, you know, we could add I've added a key value pair. Now I can add another value to this. All right. And so now we can say, this isn't actually the address. but that's okay. So let's just change that. I don't know. I might actually be pointing to somebody else, but all right. So we can create that, and there you can see I can actually have multiple labels to this, so I can kind of add different values in there, which is nice. Up with that, so HPS QA.R network. I'm just meant to just value. All right, so something like that. Let's create another one. Create another links, and here we'll just call this portal. I don't know. I'm just making things up as I go. I don't think of a safe name to put it. Oh, I don't know. So yeah, that would be prod environment. Create a couple other. I'm just basically I'm just getting some. Okay, like I said, I'm just creating some values. All right, doesn't really matter what inputs, outputs. I'm not really testing that. I'm just testing if we actually can get some values. Let's create one more thing in here. So those are both the links. Let's do. I'm just kind of making things up. It's called key value. Oh, weird name. Prod. I just want something to test with. Okay. So those are there. It's also, so features are similar, but even simpler, right? So here you know your feature flags, and these are just true false values, right? So we can go in here, and we can have our value, and let's just call it feature 1. And again we can have labels, right? So in prod, we'll set this to off, right? By that, and now if I create a label, so in QA, in this one, add another value, add a label. See, it's a little bit different here the way I was done, but it's close enough. You can also add filters in here. And I actually forgot how those work. So I should look at that, but for the first step that we're trying to get. So like for feature 1, it's on in dev, but not in QA, right? And let's just do another one. That's feature 2. prod, we'll keep it off. And ready to label QA and turn on in QA. And on. Right. Easy peasy. I do wish it would, you know, just now looking at this, I do wish they would do like what they do in Configuration Explorer and, you know, roll these up. Because, you know, once you get a bunch of flags in here, right? I mean, it's basically treating these as separate flags almost, right? You can see total 6 feature flag loaded. You know, it'd be nice if they could do that. I might have to write a suggestion for that. All right. So anyway, we've got that one. Now what we want to do. In our source, we're gonna click here. We're gonna create a new project, and this will be, what are we gonna do with this? I'm trying to remember. It's usually a console app for the moment. Actually, I think I need a little bit different, but I'm gonna do it this way. Because again, the console app's easier to play with. Let's just do a console. And we will call this dynamic configuration playground. All right. All good. That's not good. I highly recommend, if you're not doing this now, definitely have a standard where you keep your source. Really will save you later on. Trying to figure out what things are at. So I keep everything in E repros. And then the code and configuration. All right, there we go. So first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna add that package that we need. And we're gonna see a NuGet package manager will come up. There we go. I know it's not just the machine, because I was having it on my last machine too. I was actually blaming the last machine because I was having different problems with that. For some reason, managers sometimes slow. Like, we'll see. How long will it take to add this package? Find sometimes if I click on something else and come back, that seems to help. Maybe not. Now I'm even wondering if I actually clicked on it. If I didn't. I don't know. Every once in a while, just have problems with it. All right. Anyway, we got that package. That's good. Then what I want to do. Open. So over here is I want to. I don't remember all that code that I wrote yesterday. Specifically, let me. Cheating a little bit and, you know, open up a window that's got the code I wrote for me to see. Phrase operation. And I think for right now, I'm trying to figure out what I really need. I don't think so. We'll just do it. We'll look at the regular hello. So there was a hello world and there was a hello world extended where they were doing everything. We'll do it synchronously, at least for now. Really, like I do is add the async word, and I've got it. All right, so in here We're going to basically start this very simple. Oh, it's copying a file I need. Dry mouth. And I mean, I'm not really high purpose, not showing it. I'm just going to what I wrote yesterday, and so I did I created this settings class, which basically puts my connection string, and really, I mean, one, it's not a bad practice anyways to have that so I can easily get to it. I'm really doing that. I mean, actually, I really should be getting that from. I just realized I checked all that in. Awesome. Oh, I checked all that code in with that setting there. This is the reason why I generally don't do that in production or in my real code. All my access keys are checked in. Let's regenerate. There. What's in there now won't work. That's good. Now, if I show this for a moment, that key will no longer work. All right. And this time I gotta remember to link that out before I check it. All right. And it's just a POC one, so it's not really. The most they could do is charge me. Hit it crazily, charge me some. I might actually kill. Actually, that's what I'll do afterwards. I'll just kill this. That way, we're all good for. All right. Anyway, got this, and we'll start off with doing a create your client. Okay, so start off with that. Now, actually, what I want to do is I'm going to have class. This is where, again, so sure enough, I said I want to use GraphQL. I have not used GraphQL, so learning GraphQL with it. I've done a Pluralsight video, which actually helped quite a bit. But of course, I did that video like a month ago. I don't remember. But what I do know is I need a class. So we're gonna, right now, we'll have a links class. And I might have having to change this once I put some GraphQL in this. But we'll at least get started with this. So in here, if we go back to what we were creating here, so we had a Configuration Explorer. We created a, oh, well, that's interesting. I've never noticed that before. Your feature files comes up in your Configuration Explorer. Well, there you go. I was talking about, it'd be nice if that would drop down, but it is right there. Very interesting. Okay. All right. So I had links and then I had portal and front page, right? So we have our class links, and we'll just do a public URI portal. And then we'll have a public URI front page. And again, just making things up. Links are probably something we would use this for. Right? I mean, easier way to configure the different links in the different environments. So I'm going to have that class, and then we're going to go ahead and add a class called what was the other one called? Key. Really original name there. And here we're going to have public string value. Oh, maybe a little bit later I'll change that. Better. All right, so I have those. I'm not going to fool with the features just yet. Let's just do this part first. And actually yesterday I was not fooling with features. I didn't pull those yet. So let's see here. So we're going to create a client. And sure enough, in this code I was working on yesterday, way too many windows. I've got way too much stuff open right now. I'm sure that I think it's pretty typical for developers. So in here, you create the setting, but that is creating setting. Here's what I was like. Okay, I want something similar to that. So let's just do this real simple. Retrieve setting, and in here, name of I don't know how I'm going to do this. At least to start off, we'll do name of links, colon, name of links dot all right. So I will retrieve that setting. Sure enough, I just do a console write line. I mean, really not doing anything all that special right now. But writing that, we should get there that we're not even 404. Oh. No, why am I going to 404? The links front page, and that should be links. That's right. Four. So that would tell me. Let's just go back here. Copy that. Full string. Oh, I worried. Still getting a 404. Oh, no. Now I'm confused. Let's see something. Flow solution. And there it's working. All right, something's different, but I can't figure out what. Copy Visual Studio. Check my calendar. Sure where I gotta be, when I gotta be where. All right. Those are all. Not that opening and closing should make any difference. So not. Gotta figure out where exactly the problem's coming. I mean, I would think it's coming from the connection string. That's what it would seem like with 4.4 error. But that also doesn't make sense. I don't think it is that. It's the settings. Here. That one's supposed to be working. On this. All right, something's just. Okay, cool. I'm tweeting while I'm streaming. Luxuries of automatically. So sure enough, I mean, I was talking about this earlier, but you know, Thursday we'll have a new framework guide. All right, let's For heaven's sakes, this is doing nothing. Not working. Copy this. Paste that. Actually. That. Should now be doing the exact same thing that Hello World does. There we go. It worked fine. Now, out of curiosity, that. Four. Well, let's this is interesting. In theory, that should fail. No, I won't fail because that works just fine. It's only working if I create these in here? That can't be right. Maybe that's why this isn't released yet. Vision history. The thing is, all these samples I have, which worked. Is I'll create the HTML windows open up. All right, let's run that. That all works. Basically expected. And gosh. There's a problem. It's the labels. There's what I'm missing. Oh, okay. Sounds like this would be silly otherwise. If I remember right from yesterday, just right in here, change. That's where we have to look at. Instead of the hello world example. Go to is that the one we did do? One of these ones I have. Why don't I have the all right, good. My code. All right. So if we go to data here. Oh, okay. Thought we did this. Here, alt branch. All right, sure enough, here, yeah. So here we're doing the label. There you can see here's where we're creating it, dating. Here's what we have. Copy. Go here. We need something similar to this. So okay, so I have to, yeah. It's on the, that's where the difference is. So client dot configuration. So the get configuration, does this have a selector in here? Cancellation token. Configuration setting. Change. Cancellation token. Cancellation token. Not in there, but if I do client get configuration async, here, okay, Just see if I can do it. Oh, because that's getting everything. So we'll create the selector. And then we'll do a, sorry, we'll do a configuration setting, retrieve. Oh, that gets settings. Don't tell me I gotta get all the settings just to get this one value. So configuration setting. Sure. Equals client get configuration setting. Key. Do that. I have a, oh, right there. I just missed it. All right, and then we'll just call this prod. Just for now. Okay. Now this should do what I was trying. Fail. I won't fail, but it won't. Yeah, I will. It'll fail. And there we go. Now we got the value we were. Here. Here it is. Without a label. That's kind of, yeah, that's the other thing you can have without a label. Sense for what you're working with. Maybe like a default value that overrides everything else. Good idea. All right, so sure enough, prod, we show values. Was this? All right, okay. All right, well, all right, so I think as far as I wanted to, because I got a little stuck there. But let's wrap this. Let's wrap this as a nice function here that we would probably have, right? So we would have a public string get configuration value. This would take in a string of environment. And we'll call it label. And a string of key. And then have that. And then we're going to have these. Change this key label. And this will return configuration setting value. Just give me a second here. No, I'm about to wrap up. Got my laptop sitting here doing something else. Battery's just about to die on me. You know, work doesn't stop. Stream and no stream, work doesn't stop. It's not gonna fit that way. And I put my laptop on the floor, just have to be careful where I step. All right, so so I've done this. Just comment all of that out, and we'll just do a simple console write line. Get configuration value. Oh, is because this is a static. It's static. Then we'll do get configuration value, and then we'll have you want to do like what I was doing. Lose my voice. That say def. See if the response come back. And that needs another parentheses. And sure enough, this should just work. This should return that def address or an error. Oh. Swap those around. That's really where it should be in key and then the label. And there we go. That returns the dev address. Now I'm just curious. Let's see here. Add another value. Just keeping with the default .rnetwork.com, right, with no label. So I'm just curious now if I just pass like that, which actually I should add an optional. Okay. As we'll see what happens here. There we go. That returns the default. Which really you would do public static string get configuration value string key and return get configuration value key string empty. Right. Present there, I would call that. Here we can call QA. And I should return the two settings. All right, there we go. Cool. Now I got a little bit stuck there on the whole worth or titles, but you know, I think we still have something that make kind of looks nice. Definitely a good start to this. Tomorrow we'll make some more progress. Tomorrow we'll work on actually getting. Well, I'll probably actually I'll probably have some time this afternoon. Although well no, I won't, because I'm going to be attending some build sessions this afternoon. But tomorrow definitely we're working on getting this more. So actually getting this tied to a class. Prepping so then I can tie it to a GraphQL. All right, let's see who could we who's out there that we can go right. I mean, obviously there is this channel. Who else is out there right now? GoRush is out there. What finishing up D&D Wild Shape. Prism for examiner forms. Yeah, I think. Well, let's see who else. See who else is on LiveCoder right now. Teams, LiveCoders. Why am I not? Oh, because it's team LiveCoders. There we go. Who else is out there? I'm just seeing what other folks are working on right now. Python, PHP through processors. Let's go to Developers Garage, because I mean, he's watching build, so there'll definitely be some nice chat with that. So let's move over to Developers Garage. Actually, I do like his stream. He does a pretty good stream, I like. All right, so again, I really do appreciate everyone for joining me today. Sorry for the long ramble at the beginning, but definitely did want to talk about some things I'm looking forward to in there. So hopefully everyone enjoys the rest of their day. Definitely check out the build. Whether you watch on Developers Garage or you just go to build.microsoft.com. Look for some of those Cosmos changes. I'm really excited about those. Otherwise, just have an awesome day. All right, thanks everybody.
What? I'm not sure what happened there. No? Okay. Tail learn code. What's going on?